No Maniacs. Welcome in, man. I'm doing this for the very first time, doing a recording. And let me tell you guys what went into the thoughts of making this video. You see, I've got Bears content in my head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I got a lot of stuff on my mind and things to say. We do a whole lot of, live shows and, interacting with the people all the time. And sometimes, even as long as those shows are, I'm never able to get out some of the things that I want to say about particular, players or situations with Chicago. And doing this video, I guess, is for me to be able to really single out some thoughts that I have about about certain situations, in particular, Zacch Pickens here on the screen. And let me start this this video off by saying this. I watched Zacch Pickens in college backward. I know the player backwards and forwards. I studied him and studied him and studied him. And what Zacch Pickens is he's a pure three tech, is what he is. And and the question I have is, can Dennis Allen raise Zacch Pickens' level? And let me start this off by saying the obvious right now. Zacch Pickens is 6'4", playing at 300 pounds. Let me say that again. He's 6'4", playing at 300 pounds, playing nose guard in particular. Nose tackle in particular, that position is basically, remember, there's a difference between a three technique and a nose tackle. It's a completely different, ask of a player. Now, is Zacch Pickens capable of giving you some nose tackle reps? Yes, obviously he is. The quality of those reps, I think, is questionable. And what I'm going to say right here in this video is I can make a strong case for we've got a bunch of untapped potential with Zacch Pickens playing at nose tackle versus him playing at his natural position, that is three tech. He's a very exciting and very dynamic three technique in particular. And the fact that Matt Eberflus just simply used this guy for most of his reps at nose tackle was really a misuse of his talent, in my opinion. And that's, over the last couple of years, really frustrated me and it's upset me. And I question whether or not it's frustrating and upset Zacch, because his level of play is not what I seen on video of him coming out of South Carolina, not at all. And that is basically the crux of what I want to talk about here today real quick is Dennis Allen sitting around with Ryan Poles and reviewing the talent on the team? And when he gets his Zacch Pickens, is he looking at this kid's reps and saying to himself, alongside of Ryan Poles, who's got to be questioning whether or not we got the right guy here? And I can imagine Dennis Allen looks at Zacch Pickens' reps and says to himself, or to Ryan Poles, you know what? I think this guy's got a lot of meat on his bone. He's got a lot of meat on the bone. And, I think if we play him at his natural position, which is three tech, give him most of those reps in camp and during games, have him take particular three tech reps, I think you get more out of this football player. But to have him playing at nose guard pretty much his entire time in Chicago, I think it's frustrating. I don't see the same football player that I saw at South Carolina, not whatsoever, and naturally so. When you play at nose tackle, it's basically a gap control position, and it's designed to absorb, combo blocks and double teams and things like that. And in Zacch Pickens' case, seeing enough reps here in Chicago, when he plays nose tackle, when he gets combo block, he's out of the play, completely wiped out of the play. The rare occasions when he gets the one-on-ones, he competes a little bit, but he still gets moved around. He's 300 pounds. He came here somewhere around the neighborhood of 315, 318, 320. But what Flus asked him to do was to trim down. And, he was supposed to be position versatile. And I think he was. But his reps being mostly at nose tackle, I think we're missing a potential gem on our roster. His true capability is being missed because he's playing nose tackle. And that's my whole point. And I wonder, because you watch Dennis Allen's defenses, everybody on that defensive front, probably minus the edge rushers will probably take some nose tackle reps. Your three techs are going to take some nose tackle reps, depending on what package that's on the field at that particular moment. But I look at Zacch Pickens' Chicago film, and I almost want to puke because I know we're just wasting a really, really talented dude that can really help us in a variety of ways along that line. But having his reps being played at nose tackle, particularly, and that's his like primary position, is really frustrating me. And so I had to make this video. And I'm gonna blame Flus for this, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. I know it's a lot of people might say, that's Ryan Poles' fault. He didn't do due diligence in the offseason and bring in another qualified backup nose tackle after Andrew Billings went down. And I can't blame that totally on Ryan Poles, because Ryan Poles said it himself when you guys heard him. He's not in the business of just getting players and putting them on the team and having these guys coach them if they don't want them. And so I think it was Flus's fault. Absolutely Matt Eberflus's fault that they didn't get the quality and the type of nose tackle to back up Andrew Billings that they needed. And so he went with the more lighter, more athletic rotation. And immediately when Andrew Billings went down, the defense took a nosedive, especially in the run game. Took a straight nosedive because number 96 you see here on the screen, it's not really a qualified backup nose tackle. It's just not what he's really qualified to do, especially not at 300 pounds. And Zacch Pickens is a strong, big guy. But to play all of those reps at nose tackle, it's really ridiculous, to be honest with you. And I don't know how many of you guys out there have multiple conversations with plenty of people during shows that we do, in discussions with this guys that we do kids, trips, and everybody. We've had conversations about it, but it continues to aggravate me knowing that we have a guy this talented on the team and him being misused. Now, is it to the point where Zacch Pickens has lost his kind of his gusto for the game because of how he's being used here in Chicago? I don't know. I wish I had an answer for that. But somehow, some way, I feel like a new coordinator that comes in with the style of defense that he plays, and it's purely get up the field. It's purely get up the field and be fast about it. And I think that's a strength of Zacch Pickens. And so I'm very, very curious to see how they evaluated Zacch Pickens and what the plan is for him moving forward. Are you going to bolster the roster up in a way that he doesn't have to play nose guard? Because he's got to be frustrated with that at this point. There's no way he can hold up at nose guard for a career at 300 pounds. There's no way. You're going to get run through as a defense with that guy playing nose guard. And it was, frankly, I was embarrassed for him and just upset for him at the same time, because I'm looking at the kid on the sidelines and he just looked like he just didn't want to be out there. And I don't blame him. Nobody wants to be doing things and playing positions on the field that's not really suited to you and your capabilities. You want to be in a position where you can really come off the ball and be the exciting, athletic three tech that you are. And we're just not seeing it. And I think what's frustrating about it, and I ain't going to say annoying, but I think people have jumped to certain conclusions about Zacch Pickens. And I understand why. And so I'm not going to blame any fan about how they feel about Zacch Pickens, but I'm going to say this. I think I would just say, pump your brakes a little bit. Let's see what happens with this new defensive coordinator. And after he reviews the film on Zacch Pickens, what he thinks Zacch Pickens is. And I got a feeling he's going to come away with the same thoughts that I have looking at the film. And that is, hold on, man. Let me go back and look at his South Carolina film first. And I'm just, imagining myself being Dennis Allen. And then, fast forward to what he's done so far in the league. And I think you got to come away with the conclusion that, okay, I think we got something here. I think we just need to turn him loose, put him in a position where he can just really turn it loose. And I believe, and I'm just hoping this might be me and wishful thinking taking over. I don't know. But I know this. I believe what I saw on film at South Carolina, it was true and blue when I seen it. This guy's a pure athletic three tech that can disrupt the game. Can we get that out of him? Can we get him in the right position to really excel and kind of turn it loose? We will see. We will see. I believe Dennis Allen has the chops and the know-how. He's been around defenses enough and these players enough to be able to identify what I'm saying to you guys right now. And that is we have a untapped gem on our team that, if given the right responsibility, put in the right situation, can really, really turn it loose. And so I'm eager to see what happens in camp or in the offseason, what they think about Zacch Pickens, because there's going to be a lot of questions aimed, and hopefully the reporters will see a video like this and say, you know what? When I see Dennis Allen at the podium next time, I'll talk to him about Zacch Pickens. I want to see what he thinks about Zacch Pickens after he reviewed the film. I'm eager to find out what he really thinks of Zacch Pickens. I know he's not going to say anything bad about him, but I can kind of discern sometime, if the question is asked, what he actually thinks about this kid. And I just think that, he's reached nowhere. I mean, he hasn't even scratched the surface of what he's capable of doing. And I think the Bears, because of some lackluster, performances at nose tackle, anybody could be tempted to say, you know what, we might need to move on from him. I hope that's not the case, because I know if Zacch Pickens went, say, to a team like Houston, they would turn that kid loose. And you'd be looking at a completely different player because they asked him to play 3-tech. And so with that being said, I just wanted to get out of here and leave you guys with that thought, man. I wanted to say one more thing before we get out of here, because, we're going to be talking about the draft a whole lot on the network. We're going to be reviewing a whole bunch of 3-techs. And I know they're going to make some moves on the defensive line in free agency and in the draft. But I just don't want people to forget about this gym that we have on the team, man. But with that being said, we're going to get out of here and leave you with these famous words. If you can think it and you can see it, people, there's no reason in the world why you cannot absolutely manifest it. Do not be a prisoner of your own mind. But with that being said, I am